Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Giving You Everything podcast. My name is Victoria Whitaker. I'm a business coach. I help women as they leave corporate and launch their own businesses. And if you're looking for a business podcast that doesn't put you to sleep, well, you're in for it today. I am bringing back our podcast and show, and I'm super excited to tell you more about that today. Like I said, I work with women as they are leaving corporate and launching their own businesses, and not just businesses that are successful, that make money, that bring in 5-figure plus clients, but businesses that give them the space and the peace and the ease to live the life they want to lead. Because guess what? You deserve to be a badass and you deserve to just live a peaceful life, right? We all do. So that's what I'm going to be doing on the show and podcast. We're going to be touching base on what it looks like to build your business and strengthen your business while strengthening your life. And I'm going to be also talking about fun stuff because it's the Giving You Everything podcast. We give you everything here. And that means I'm going to talk to female entrepreneurs about how they built their businesses, but also about fun things like reality TV, spirituality, the things that are a little bit more taboo or harder to speak about when sometimes we're in these professional rooms. So I'm super excited to have you here today and tell you more about myself if we haven't met before, and tell you a little bit more about what our show is in store for this season and beyond. So like I said, I'm Victoria. I currently live in Hawaii, which I'll be excited to tell you more about how I'm here, because the last time we were together, I was in LA near the beach. And now I'm looking at the ocean on Oahu. So I have moved to the other side of the ocean, and I'm just super excited to let you know why. I graduated from undergrad at Stanford, studied psychology, and I have my MBA from Berkeley. And together, really, that, as well as my life experiences working in nonprofit, coaching for most of my career, really, and leaning on these gifts that I deeply have, I have really leaned into my own strengths in coaching, which really sits at the intersection of strategy and empathy. So my clients like to say, I'm strategic. I'm going to be a little bit forward and direct. And I'm also just really empathetic. I deeply get to know people and understand them. And and I use that in my coaching. So I'm super excited to use that even in our show today, as I get to know you as my audience and get to spend some time with you, which I'm so looking forward to. And I'm really excited to bring this show back now in the new year in 2026. Because I'm just at this place where I've been doing so much work, and I'll tell you about that over the last year. And there's so much to share. And I think ultimately, that's my own purpose and my own desire. It really is to share things and teach things and bring people together in communities like this. I also do retreats and have a community space called The Retreat myself. And it's just being able to bring people together to learn and to feel seen and to feel heard. So that's what I'm so excited to create again on this podcast show. I guess I'm just going to call it a show, on the Giving You Everything show. And you can catch us wherever you get your podcasts, and you can also catch us on YouTube as we get started. So like many of you know, I had a podcast called the Giving You Everything podcast. And to be honest, it was a dream to spoke with. If you have not listened to these episodes, please go back and listen, because they're such really incredible good ones. But I spoke with women entrepreneurs about, one, their favorite reality TV shows. So we spoke about things like the Kardashians. We did Survivor. We did Project Runway and Real Housewives of Atlanta. Women who loved reality TV, because guess what? I love reality TV. And so I just felt like, I could walk into a board room, or you might walk into an investor meeting, and men there, whoever, might be there talking about, oh, I watched, 6 hours of Sunday football all day. And that's normal, but I couldn't be I watched 6 hours of Love Island UK because I couldn't stop watching it yesterday, right? So the podcast came out of a willingness and a desire to really just be honest and be myself and be authentic, which I don't know how to do anything else. And so from there, I wanted to do more video at that time. And I also was getting a lot of questions about, hey, we love your solo episodes. Can you do more of those? So I've decided to kind of mix it up a bit. We're going to continue to interview women entrepreneurs and talk about their favorite reality TV shows because there's been so much good reality TV since the last time we spoke. So we got to catch up on those. We're going to continue to talk to them about how they built their businesses, and you'll get to even hear some live coaching in this space. And then we're also going to touch on, I'm going to share some of my own framework. I have been doing such incredible things. I'll tell you how I ended up in Hawaii, but in my business, it has been able to grow so beautifully. And that's really what I did with a lot of the time away from the podcast, was just focus, put my head down. And I've learned so much. I've gotten to teach so much, and I'm ready to bring that to you. So if you are a budding or early or even an entrepreneur who just wants a reset, I've got so much good content for you that I'm really excited to share in this space in particular. So, some of the things that I got to do is in my own business is I've onboarded many more clients, which has been great. I have done tens of workshops. I've probably done like 30 workshops since we last spoke. I do them in person for alumni networks like Stanford, or for co-working spaces like the Gathering Spot in LA or the Kin. And continue to take it on the road. Earlier this year, I went to New York first and did a workshop in person there. I'll be in LA in January. And I'll be back in New York too. So you can catch me in person, where you can get a lot of the teachings and support that you might want. So please find all of that information on my Instagram or my website. And I also ran a day retreat, my first in-person day retreat in LA. I had a group of women come together and really re-energize, re-envision what they wanted for their business in the year. And it was just so beautiful. We had a sound bath. We moved through some of those limiting beliefs and mindsets. It was absolutely wonderful and stunning. I did a group coaching. I launched that last year, and I launched the retreat community, which might sound a little confusing because it wasn't a retreat, but it's my online community space where we have 2 beautiful intentional events a month. And some of that includes me teaching. And so that is currently up and running, and it's just been wonderful to do and to have. So that's a lot about what I've been up to, which has just been really great. And I've had a really great revenue year. And I've also moved to Hawaii. So if you have listened to this, and if you're new, you'll hear me say this a million times, but I am big on following your intuition. I'm big on connecting with yourself, getting quiet, and deciding, particularly as you're building a business or going after a new venture, what is it that I want? Who is it that I want to be in this next phase of my life? How do I want to feel in this next phase of my life? And what mindsets maybe that I need to let go of? What information do I need to absorb, and new mindsets about new things and new people? And yeah, as I was figuring out what I wanted to do last year, I had given up my apartment, listened to my intuition that said, give up your apartment, which was like on the water. It was beautiful in Marina Del Rey. And I broken up with a partner at that time, and it was just kind of like my business was doing well, but I was kind of spiraling, and I knew I wanted to do in-person events. I knew I loved this space. Like, I love to show up here and share with you and just, get to chat and talk. But I just decided to bounce around, and some of that time I spent with my family and some of that time I spent with my friends. But as I went back to move back to LA, I just had this inkling that it wasn't it. And maybe I'll save the long story of this for another episode. But, basically I had a visit from a hummingbird, and it told me to move to Hawaii. And it's been the best decision of my life. I am so incredibly grateful. And I say it with a lot of responsibility that I don't think everyone should run to an island that's not theirs. Again, let me dive more into that in the long run. But I do say it in that my intuition told me on a first ping, hey, this is the place for you. I have community here. I have built friendships that are so meaningful, and relationships that are meaningful. And it just feels like the perfect place for me. So that's what I've been doing. I'm going to jump more. I'm going to do a whole episode on it because it's totally like so special to me. And so that's really what I've been up to for the last year. It's been so special. And so I'm excited to continue to take you along. So what's different about this before is, before it was really podcast heavy, really interview heavy. We're still going to have, a good portion of these be interviews with women because I just love to bring them in this space and laugh and have fun. And I love to have you here too. And like I said, there's going to be more educational episodes where I'm going to talk a lot about different business concepts and as well as like mindset concepts. And so you'll get some of that as well, which is really based on my proven framework, my experiences working with clients who have been so successful and been able to bring on 5-figure plus clients and build businesses they love for themselves, right? And then I'm also going to do some lifestyle. So maybe a little bit of showing you around what my day looks like, what it looks like to prep for some workshops, talk a little bit about some of those topics that are meaningful to me, and just, give you a little bit of everything, right? So that's a little bit about what is different, right? So, and what to expect, right? So we have those business strategy workshops, we have those interviews with women entrepreneurs, and then we also have some just like fun episodes that are just going to be me putzing around and sharing some thoughts. And I hope it's all like filled with a bit of inspiration for you. And ultimately, I had a friend recently send me like the most beautiful voice note, and she like does not always, she's of course kind and supportive, but she's not someone who like gives praise very, just like generously. And that's, I don't know if it's generous or just like without thinking, right? Because she's a very generous person. But, she said to me in this voice note, like, you're someone who just can see what's possible in someone else and just like infuse that in them. You make sure and that other people can see their ability, and you deeply believe it. And I do. So if you're sitting here, if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, maybe on your walk, or if you're watching this, maybe as you like are making food or just laying back, just know that you have found this place for a reason. And whatever it is you desire in this next part of your life, whether that be more peace, whether that be more autonomy and more freedom, whether that mean clarity around how to really execute on your purpose, whether that mean more money, whether that mean more time with people you really, really love. Maybe that just means quietness and stillness. Maybe it's moving to a place you really love. Whatever it is that you desire, I promise you, you can have it. And I promise you that that thought and that desire has found you because it belongs to you. And I am just so excited that you're here along this journey. And I hope and I know that I'm going to be able to help you get to that place through our time together here, through other ways of working with me. So thank you for coming here and for spending this time together. Some of the topics that we're going to talk about are things like that, right? Things like creating a vision for yourself and being able to go into it and make it happen. And then we're also going to be talking about other kinds of topics like booking premium clients and market research strategies and raising your prices and how to really engage your warm network to be your first clients. We're obviously going to hit on some reality TV, right? I'm hoping, I've yet to schedule them all yet, but there's probably be a little bit of maybe Bachelorette in there, maybe Love Island. There's always a Love is Blind because people love to watch Love is Blind. And yeah, it's just going to be a mix of all sorts of things. And I'm totally going to take this on the road right now. I'm like in my apartment and give you some views of Hawaii. So whether you're listening to this on the podcast or you're watching this on YouTube, again, thank you for being here. I'm so excited to have you. This is for the person who wants a little bit of inspiration in their life, who wants a lot of fun, because we have so much fun on this show, who is wanting to build a business, who is wanting to expand their business, who is wanting to be inspired and to feel a part of a community. Because guess what? You're a part of this community now. And maybe you want business advice from someone who doesn't look like the typical business dude, which is me. And maybe you want to build that business that's really authentic to you, that allows you to be you, right? It's the reason why we often leave that corporate structure, is because sometimes we're showing up every day, not getting to be ourselves. And so the most important thing for me as I support women and non-binary people to build businesses that are successful is that they're also having the opportunity to show up as ourselves, creating a model for people behind us to see what's possible, right? So that is who this is for. And if you love reality TV, obviously, please welcome here. And if you're just looking for inspiration in this next phase of your life, like, please, like, I'm all about expanding. And again, whether you want to build a business or you want to have a different career or you just want to grow as a human, you can do it. Okay. And I am always here. If you are having that doubt, please leave a comment in the comment section and I will get back to you. Okay. Because at this point I can. So the show's for you. I'm so glad you found us. And I'm just like so glad that you're here. And the beautiful thing about this show is that we don't have to choose, like, right? Like, I'm smart. I'm smart as hell. I'm fun as hell. I cuss. I like to have a good time. I could step into a boardroom and I could step into the club. I haven't done that in a while, but I did go to Backstreet Boys in Vegas. It was so fun. Highly, highly recommend going with your best friends and feeling like you're 10 again, or 12, or wherever you fall on this. I don't know how young you are, or how old you are, but all are welcome here. And so the beautiful thing is we get to be all things. And the more that we step into our authentic selves, even as we build businesses, the better our businesses are, the more magnetic we are, the more that people see us and recognize us, and the people who are meant to find us will find us, right? So that's literally what giving you everything means to me. You know, it's also a line from Spice Girls song, my favorite Spice Girls song, but that's literally what it means, right? And my story, my ability to leave corporate, to have climbed that ladder, leave corporate, to see something better for myself after being in an abusive relationship, to continuing to grow, to working with the most amazing clients, and to building this business that is successful, is proof that, you know, you can do it too, right? And like I said, I'll show you one day, but I'm looking at the most beautiful ocean views that maybe exist in the world. And I saw that and built that for myself. I leave you with this. As we get started with this season, what is the one thing that you want for yourself in this next phase of life? When you think about this next phase of life, of your career, of your business, what's one thing that you want for yourself? Okay. And then after you write that down, I want you to think of what are 2 things you can do this week to move yourself in that direction. Because I promise you, that's all it is. It's vision with action, right? It is, I can see it, and I'm going to take a few steps to get there, right? And if one of those steps is reach out to Victoria to get some support, please do. So we're dropping YouTube episodes and podcast episodes wherever you get podcasts at. And you can also find me on Instagram at VicWit, or you can find me on LinkedIn at Victoria Whitaker. And you can always visit me at www.victoriawhitaker.com, where you can find all my latest offerings. And if you want to join the retreat community, we are actually accepting applicants right now. So I'll drop a link below there. You can directly just put your name and apply. And I'd love to have you in that group. It is a beautiful membership community. And you get to spend even more time with me. So again, I just can't even explain how excited I am right now to be here back on this show. I just love it. And I'm just so excited for the guests we're going to have and everything we're about to do this season. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you soon.